Hey everybody, Doug here from 2 Plus Tough, and I am snowed in still in the Seattle area, and so I thought we would just sit down and do a hobby hangout, and my good friend Jack from Rerolling Ones is also free. So how you doing, Jack?
I'm doing well now that I'm home safe.
Oh my goodness, yeah. You work with UPS, so you're out there in the snow, just
Yeah, I know to some people, like, snow is just a fact of life, but it just doesn't snow up here very much.
That's the problem. I'm from the Midwest, and I don't mind snow. I just walked about a mile and a half to and fro, collectively to the store and back. But I don't mind it. But like, are there cities just in Seattle area just don't have the infrastructure for dealing with it? So it just gets dangerous, and there's a lot of hills here and stuff like that. So when we complain about snow, it's not. Imagine the people in the Midwest who are super stout and used to it. Just imagine if you had no plows and no salt, and it's bad.
It definitely, it makes my job a lot harder, and now I appreciate a normal day.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But while we were stuck in this snow apocalypse, Snowmeggedon as well. I thought Snowmeggedon.
Yeah.
All right, done. While we're trapped in there, I thought I would get some more hobby done. I did a show earlier today, hanging out with my friends over in the EU because it's kind of their evening hobby time. I found out, and so I thought I'd just do another one.
I caught all of it while I was at work. I listened to the audio.
Yep.
I had to ask some questions while I was stuck.
You got, poor Jack got stuck in a snowdrift or whatever.
Yeah, it was it was not fun, but it's one of those things like, well, I get paid by the hour, so
exactly, yeah.
I'm getting paid.
Exactly, yep. So, So anyway, let's start off with what we're working on. Jack, what are you working on tonight?
I am working on this Terrorgeist. So I got it for free and from Shoe. I'd say about a year ago, and it's interesting. Like, I have a lot of models, like thousands of models, like probably like 6,000 worth of models. I'm not bragging. I just never throw anything away. And I started playing Games Workshop stuff when I was 9. I'm 37 now. So like me and my brother, like literally probably have every model we've ever bought. And I like, it's weird now for me to paint stuff because I was one of those guys who would just play with gray models. Now, I primed stuff in the hopes that one day I would paint it. And to be painting this model, because when he gave it to me, I was like, sure. And there was like no thought in my head that I'd paint this one day. But it was already assembled, and this is a model that I would definitely suggest if you get one of these to sub-assemble it, because it was all put together. I actually ripped the wings off and ripped the base off just so I can get into the stuff. But and I'm semi-excited to play this army. I was never thought about playing it, and we tried to. I think you talked about it on your show. We were going to trade. I was going to trade Flesh Eater Courts for KO because you need to own this army. Just one day you have to own this. But I'm glad we both changed our mind. And this is a rush job, a lot of washes, a lot of dry brushing. But the goal is to get 1,000 points or 1,500 points by Carrion Empire, and so we can have a video for it. So
no, that's legit, man. I'm well on my way to getting 1,000 points, but cool. Okay, awesome. Terrorgeist. So we'll chat more about your hopes, dreams, and aspirations for Flesh Eater Courts in a little bit. I'm excited about that because you play both Khorne and now Flesh Eater Courts. That's exciting to have you on.
Yes.
For me, I am painting I'm doing a brush-on primer from Army Painter because GW doesn't make one anymore.
Oh.
And basically, it's just too nasty outside to go priming, and so I'm just doing. I only have 4 models that need to be primed, and the rest of it are already painted from the last owners, and so I'm just going to paint over that and do some rescue work on the dudes on foot.
Have you thought about getting an airbrush? Because that's how I prime all my stuff.
I think about it, and then every time I do, I'm like, man, I'd much rather buy a new webcam or a new something for the channel.
Like, not saying that's but you can get them pretty cheap. AliExpress. I've gotten several. I mean, I probably should get a nice expensive one so I don't have to keep buying new ones. But, I've bought like 3, and I've never spent more than $40 on one.
Okay. What about your compressor?
That was the probably most expensive thing. I think that was like $90.
Okay.
as far as guns. And I suggest you get one. As much as you paint, it's very useful.
Oop. All right. On. I will do that. Maybe I'll treat myself for my birthday. I don't know.
When's your birthday?
July.
Oh, okay.
A little ways out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that would be really good. Probably have an airbrush. But as much as I do, at least honestly, that'd probably save me a ton of time when it came to base coating and priming. If that's all I used it for, even that would speed me up.
Totally.
Right on. So while we're chatting, we have two sort of topics. We're going to talk about Flesh Eater Chords and Corn because Jack plays both of those. But other than that, we're just going to like hang out with the chat, and this is a painting hangout as much as it is a show. So, Jack, so you saw the reveals for Corn stuff. What are your initial impressions? Let's start with the fact that they're getting a book. Period.
My initial thought was like I see a lot of people are upset. I was excited because I've played Corn at tournaments, even though they won CanCon. There's things about Corn that I always would say Corn shouldn't be first in line to get help or get an update, but they need an update.
Yeah.
But it turns out they were fourth in line, I guess. But I'm not mad when any book comes out.
Yep.
Growing up, like it'd be years between releases, and so anytime a book comes out, I'm happy. Be it one I want or one I don't want. Because if you think about it, it's been less than 2 months, and we've had 4 announcements and releases.
Mm-hmm.
That is breakneck speed, and for somebody to get upset at that, it just I don't think it's just don't waste your energy.
Agreed.
Unless you're like deathly ill or something, and you want your Slanesh book before you meet the maker. I could see being upset. That would suck. But
the literal final countdown.
I'm just happy any book comes out.
Totally. No, I get that.
Try to be positive and whatnot.
Yeah, along what you said, what I said earlier today when someone asked the question, it was like, well, what are your thoughts on that? I was like, well, they have a long to-do list. If they want to get, my assumption is they saw the value in all the books from 40K being in the same edition, and they're doing it for AOS, and that means they have a long to-do list, including new stuff, new factions, and updating old ones. Like, I wouldn't have started with Corn, but they did, so it's whatever.
I also think like they're in this to make money.
Oh yeah,
and I think Corn is the as far as popular, it's the highest Chaos army. I think would be the popularity of Corn, and so you want to please your money spenders, and so Stormcast, Corn, the stuff that in the original box that people bought. Most people have at least one of those armies, I would say. And so, yeah, good for them.
Cool. Okay. Well, I'm glad you are a positive about it. I figured you would be because none in our group is like, we don't really poo-poo much stuff. We don't have time for that. But
don't bring up Seraphon around Josh.
Yeah, exactly. We have some rules. But I was gonna say, moving into like stuff. What do you think of the new? What's the Herald guy? Skull Taker.
Oh, they're redoing the Skull Taker. It looks beautiful. Like they're just like, I don't know. The skill is mind-boggling. Just using computers to sculpt rather than like hands, and it's crazy how far they've come. And it's like almost. Sometimes I feel it's like too good. It's like, because I know my paint job won't do this model justice. So sometimes I have that feeling, but yeah, it's a beautiful model.
Right on. Do you use Skull Taker at all in your armies?
No, I don't. Like you, I usually don't take special characters.
Yeah, name guys. Okay, right on.
Yeah, but I also usually ran humans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Bloodbound rather than running demons.
That makes sense. Yeah, I don't think I've ever actually seen anyone play him, or really, I don't think I've ever seen anyone play just a normal Herald unless they're taking a specific battalion. But that's that's cool. It's a classic character. So,
like I bought a couple. Like I have this is the just normal Herald here, and I have the Juggernaut one on foot here, and I bought them just because summoning. They're like 2 blood tide point and 3 blood tide point the other, and their characters if you want to cap something if you're playing a specific objective.
Yeah.
And so they're good for that. And I'm also kind of a completionist. I like completionist. I like to have everything.
Truth. Okay, right on. And how about those endless spells, which I think is kind of the bigger thing.
I like them. They look really good. I'm just curious how they're going to work. I'm assuming blood tide points, but I could be wrong. Or prayers. Get off a prayer from Cordell, a slaughter priest, and so I don't think I'll be getting any of those off actually.
Yeah, just buy the set and stare at it for a while.
Actually, I'll put you on the spot. Can Cordell be in one of your battle reports?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we've already had requests for him and one of your Iron Jaws actually.
Okay, for sure. It's anytime after this snowstorm.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I don't think it'll ever end. I think we're just gonna die,
Yeah, it's the day after tomorrow starts today.
Exactly, yeah. Dibs on Dennis Quaid's character.
It's scary, when you're used to just, like you have your daily routine, and this is just, I got stuck on the way home. Got stuck in front of my garage. And 2 gentlemen came out and very nice, helped me get out.
No bueno. What was I going to say? Yeah, no, I'm pretty stoked about them. I'm with the endless spells. I'm curious if they're gonna if they are keeping blood type points like the way we kind of know them, or if they just decided we're gonna start over from scratch with the whole blood type table, incorporating summoning and the special abilities like the spell casting, the auto dispel, whatever like that. Get those 2 different tables and just combining them in a new way.
I can see them doing something with blood tide. Like if you're into multiplayer games, like 4 or 5 players, blood tide is kind of broken.
Yeah.
But I think it's my favorite of the mechanics for chaos demons or chaos in general, as far as summoning and stuff.
Just because the way it works as far as stuff dying.
Yeah, and you have so many options. Like for instance, say if you don't want to buy extra stuff, I don't feel like I need to go buy stuff. I have what I have, and that's it. Then you can still use your blood tide points for dispelling or making people move or whatnot. But if you don't want to spend extra money and you play Nurgle, well, your summoning points, I guess maybe if a unit dies, you can bring them back.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because depravity points, they stack up quick. And say you don't want to buy another Keeper of Secrets or anything, then you're just SOL.
That's a solid point.
You can do something with them besides summon.
There's in-game effects that don't require models. Is nice.
Like the Screaming Bell, you can if you roll a 12, you can get a Vermin Lord. But what if you don't want to buy one of those?
Yeah. That's fair. I mean, I can't picture many Skavens who don't want to buy Skaven players don't want to buy it, but I see your point in the sense of
I'm saying if you're playing Skaven, you're fine with models. How about the what's it, Isle of Blood? Is that the thing for
fantasy?
High Elves and Skaven?
Yep.
Yeah, I have that. So I got just a bunch of Skaven stuff sitting here.
I think it's called Spire at Dawn now, but yeah, it's the same kit. Right on. Had a question in the chat. What is the goal for your KO? Where do you want to take the army? I want to paint something besides Beastmen right now. That's kind of their main point of existing. Beyond that, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm having an absolute blast painting them. So I want to play them because that kind of is a good source of my hobby, inspiration. But I don't know how much I'll do that.
You got to be you, Doug. I don't like that you are committed to playing Beasts of Chaos competitively all year. I think you should just don't limit yourself. Play whatever you want. Well, last year I was doing a lot of tournament, and a couple times I took Corn just to mix it up, and just saying I'm only doing this, and I don't think you should pigeonhole yourself or lock yourself into doing that.
That's fair. I probably shouldn't.
Right. If you really love KO, then hop into that.
That's a solid point. Oh yeah, I'm not playing much right now anyway with the storm and everything. So we'll figure it out. I don't know. I do want because people definitely request them on my channel and your guys' channel quite a bit, from what I understand.
So we
No,
have those done in 2 days, and yeah,
honest,
we actually might not have a video, a battle report for this week because just the storm.
yeah, I know. Yeah, like I'm 45 minutes away from you guys, and then on a good day, and then you guys are all just split up everywhere as well because of the snow.
Yeah, I'm pretty close to Mark, but Mark lives up a giant hill.
Yeah, no, it's not worth it. Unless you're gonna get one of those like backpack army holders and your ski shoes and just travel up there.
I'm gonna make a battle report.
I'm a coming shoe.
I'll make one by myself.
That's real love.
Great job on your battle report, by the way. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it was a lot of work, but I think I got the kinks figured out to make it a little better next time. The biggest thing, I know people were really positive about it. The biggest thing is they just wanted more music and sound effects. I'm like, that is an easy thing to solve.
Like kind of swords clashing and stuff like that.
Yeah, or just like when something like escalates, like a critical roll happens, like when the Beast Lord took out 3 knights by himself, just having like some dramatic, like da-da-da-da, whatever.
How about like a slow motion roll when is a very critical roll?
Yeah, no, that'd be great. I need to. I think this is one of the few occasions where I might use like a dice box, just because it's this way it looks different in the bottom right corner than it does on the table.
That's good. I just don't like live dice box because on Bat Rep channels who use dice box, you just stare at the dice box all day.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that. And that's a kind of a consideration. That's why I didn't start that way. But then after seeing like the dice on like the death mat and then actually playing on the death mat at the same time, like there wasn't enough visual difference. Like, no, we can break that up, have them go in a box.
I have 3 mats if you want to borrow any of them. I have the fire one, the lava mat, and just the forest.
Excuse me.
And the kind of road and city one.
Yeah, dude. When I placed my order with, sorry, GameMat.eu, the order was delayed, and so they actually hooked me up with a few extra mats free of charge. So I have a whole bunch of weird ones. I have to unroll them and show them off sometime.
Awesome. Maybe I'll borrow some of yours.
Yeah. Offer redacted. Give me your stuff.
Remember that I offered it. It's a thought that counts.
Let's see what's going on here. I'm just checking out the chat real quick.
Hello, Kenzie.
You got some people agreeing with you that I shouldn't commit myself to one thing for too long.
Good, yeah. I just don't trade them away.
That's honestly why I made that declaration. I was like, I just want to stick to owning an army. I have owned the Slaves to Darkness for 2 years now.
Yeah.
I've been good about them. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying your making the Beast Lord because like honestly, I played Beast of Chaos twice, and I didn't understand how they were good, and so now I'm learning like their objective-based army. It's just like what I'm saying. Like we were both learning about them when that.
Yeah.
And like I have an army that is very killy.
Yeah, and with that last little bit with Joel McGrath. If you haven't seen that, it's the episode Making a Beast Lord with Joel McGrath, who came forth in CanCon and with Beast of Chaos did super well for a relatively new book that didn't have a lot of fanfare, new models. And we just discussed like it's a scenario monster. It can just be a lot of places, but it doesn't win by killing things, which is it's hard because I love just getting in there and mixing it up with stuff. Like I think if I ever did a Corrin, like Blood Reaver spam would be my thing. Just a lot of dudes running in there, dying in droves.
To me, I think an army that would be good for you would be like the Gloomspite gets, but playing the Trogos, because they are very like killy. If you watch the Venomous Wargaming, he had a bat rep where he played Slanesh, and man, those Trogos put a beating in on this Slanesh, which hurt my heart because Slanesh is my favorite army, and that's what I'm waiting for. That's what I'm waiting for. See what happens.
Yep.
I got to rebase. I think 15 of these girls, the Seekers, and I think I have 90 Demonettes. I'm ready. Finally got my Infernal Rapturous, who's the harp guy, and I have 6 Fiends on the way, but the weather is keeping them away. But
Yep.
that's why I'm kind of okay with Corn Book, because I have all the Flesh Eater Court stuff I want to paint, and so I don't want to have 2 armies that I want to paint. And plus, like, I have stuff I want to add to Corn now. It's an embarrassment of riches. We're spoiled now, where we can actually complain about the 4th book in a month and a half.
Yep.
So I wish people would just enjoy it and just like, this is awesome.
Absolutely. Just to be along for the ride. Yeah. That's all you got to do. That's all I do. I mean, my goodness, every time I get a battle tome or new battle tome comes out, I want to play the army. So I don't know. We'll find out.
There's nothing new there, Doug. You've been like that since I've known you.
Oh yeah, I just fall in love with the stories.
Yeah, since I've known you, like it's been years and years.
That's funny. Starting to dive into the pre-built, pre-painted engine riggers that I got. Don't plan on painting a ton of them, like a ton of stuff. I'm gonna keep most of the metallics and just kind of spruce up the armor and under armor, the clothing stuff, to match my existing scheme of Barak Mornar.
Oh, I got a question. All right.
Yep.
Jack, I'm going against Slanesh with Mortal Nurgle. What is the best way to deal with them? Is it throw minus to hit back at them? That's not bad. Minus hit hurts everybody. And their saves aren't that good anyway. Right now, Slanesh is, try to keep their characters away from your characters, not for depravity points, because depravity points is very easy to get, and you don't want to kill like a keeper secrets just to have one pop up, right? The same turn. If you have shooting, which you don't because you're Nurgle, but shooting hurts Slanesh. They're very fast, but they're not too powerful. Honestly, -1 to hit really hurts on everybody. So I'd send Plague Bearers at them.
It's a safe bet.
Mortal, sorry. And Blight Kings are, if you watch the Rerolling One's battle report from last week, Blight Kings are nasty. And so, make sure, taking the reroll. Oh, someone's already answering this question. Yes. I haven't beat Nurgle with my Slanesh, so I think you're in a good place right now. I would, if there was a, rankings, I would put Nurgle above Slanesh for now. But so hopefully that helps. Just fast, but just be what Nurgle is. Hard to kill.
Yep. Just sit on an objective.
And also, like, if you lose, like, every time I lose, I learn.
Mm-hmm.
So if you lose, just, okay, now I know, steps I need to take in order to not let that happen again. So a loss isn't bad.
Yeah, I always like to ask, like, whenever I lose to someone, how could I have won that? I mean, unless it's very close, in which case it's kind of obvious. It's just, die rolling or whatever. That's fine. But, like, if it's close, I always like to ask my opponent, like...
You've asked me that several times. Usually it comes down to list.
You had me at deployment.
Yeah, exactly.
Hoopa. Yep. Oh, man. How many Flesh Eater Court units did you get painted this weekend?
Oh, this weekend, it's mainly been working on this guy.
Okay, right on.
I probably could have painted faster. I have the habit of like I'll play Warhammer 2 Total War or Civilization 6.
Yeah.
I'm painting. And so I'll be painting, then I'll take a turn, and then hit end turn, then go back to painting. And it's like back and forth. And so it's probably not the quickest way to paint, but it's entertaining.
Yeah. I always find, because sometimes I'll join you for those games for people who don't know, but we'll play Total War together, and I find that I get a lot less accomplished, but I have fun,
Yeah,
just
it's
hanging out
fun.
time. Yeah.
How do you paint so fast? That's what I want to know. Or the quickest painter, as far as your brush strokes, you're just so quick, bat, 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 and you're got a whole section done.
Oh, well, for me, it is because the order in which I paint means I don't have to be careful, so I can be quick and sloppy. If you paint from the deepest, hardest to reach thing outward, then you're always painting, like, rarely do you go back over stuff you painted before. So it kind of speeds things up. So I was really sloppy in getting the base of the khaki color in there for my Mornar scheme. And then I'll go back over it with the blue for the blue armor, and then some more metallics to kind of touch that up. And so, yep.
Gotcha.
Yep. That is how it do. Let's see. It tends to speed things up nice. Here we go. Your painting has improved significantly since we met.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, knocking out the corn, which unfortunately not everyone got to saw because you never rolled to get more units in Path to Glory, but you have a wonderful corn army.
That was yeah, I'm excited for corn. I'm like, I want to do Path to Glory again. It was like we did it at the beginning of the channel. It's like one of my favorite ways to play the game. But it's tough when there's 4 of us to try to do it, and then just meeting up and make sure everything. But I think we can make it happen. But we'll see. We'll see. I'll hopefully. I know the skirmish campaign kind of didn't do that well as far as views and like what we wanted out of it. We're like, oh, we'll knock this out, and we'll probably get all the recording sessions done in like a weekend. That was completely wrong. It's just as long as like a normal game to play skirmish.
It does, yeah.
We were gonna do Firestorm, and we weren't able to do it, and just stuff came up, and so we had to cancel it. And then kind of we're just like, well, we'll get back to just doing regular battle reports. But I kind of want to do something.
Yeah,
I'm very excited for Karen Empire because I'd like to put out a video the same week as the box comes out, just so it's like, hey, here's something that if you're interested in getting the game, you can take a look at this. This is what it comes with. And it doesn't help that Flesh Eater Courts just won LVO with their old book.
That is astounding. I am so happy about that.
Yeah, that just shows you how awesome this game is. So Korn won CanCon, and they just got a new book. And Flesh Eater Courts won, and they just got a new book. And it's like all these different armies. It's not just one army. I mean, it sucks because it's not some armies. It's not Iron Jaws, and it's not these other armies. But the top is just random. Remember, it was Daughters of Cain. Daughters of Cain were unbeatable, and now they're like not even in the top 5. I think it was Adnith, and like 2 Stormcasts.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I think the top Daughters player was the guy Jace, who I played with right before he went down.
Oh, was he the top? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, he was the top Daughters player.
Good for him, man.
Yeah, and the woman that you played, Carrie, she got 44th, I think.
44th out of there's quite a few. There's like 150 people. No, that's a Adepticon. I don't know.
130 or something like that.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah,
good for them. Yeah, I know. I know there's a lot of guys for 40K in our area, and we actually have one of the nationally renowned like Orc 40K players up here. But it's cool to see, like, I don't know, AOS just isn't, I feel like, as big around here by a long shot.
It's growing though.
It is growing aggressively.
I shared this story on your show before, but when me and my brother got into this, we spent 4 or 5 months just playing each other. Because every time we'd go to a store, we'd get almost like just mocked. I had somebody at Mox tell me, like, am I wasting my money after I like dropped 200 already? And he was like, yeah, nobody plays this. And so it's cool that, you know, this community has grown. And I think you're one of the big parts that it's grown so big just everywhere and help people get into the thing.
Well, thank you. I'm trying to be a bigger impact locally. That's kind of why I started the game nights on Thursdays, which I'm thinking of doing a Path of Glory for that as well. We'll see how people think about it.
Awesome. I'm down.
We just have a lot of people with like the Soul Wars half or some equivalent, you know, just a couple models, and I think it'd be pretty
Make
solid.
sure they're painted. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Get the gray crap off my table.
What you do is, like, if your army is painted, you get a bonus.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you do.
Well, Mox has already told me that they would support me with like price support, so I maybe would do something like, you know, this Path of Glory ends in a game night tournament or a one night event, you know, something stupid like that, and then winner gets, you know, store credit as long as it's all painted.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Because there's a cool variety of armies too. There's a guy who's, I think his name's Brandon. He does Seraphon. Michael up north from Bellingham. He can't come down all the time, but I'm sure if it is something special, he would come down. He was a nice guy. I met him for the first time. It's awesome. He has corn.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
Tournament. He's a great guy.
Yeah, you know, he told me they have like 20 people up there in Bellingham, and I was like, what? So I'm very stoked about that. All right, let's see. Question: How? Go ahead.
I was just about to read that.
Oh, how funny! How would either of you recommend getting a table to play on? Because it seems 6x4 folding tables are practically non-existent online.
Good question. I looked out because I got a whiteboard that's exactly 6x4. You ordered one, right, online?
Yeah, I ordered one from GameMats.e. They have a collapsible table. Their website says they're out of stock all the time, but they get them in pretty regularly. As far as recommending it, it's collapsible. It's nice. It folds away. It is kind of not the easiest thing to set up. It's very awkward. It bows a lot. Not when it's fully deployed, but in the process of setting up, it's kind of rough. I like your thing more. If you have a room that you can comfortably fit the like your living room comfortably fits the 6x4 mega table, that's definitely, I think, preferable.
Yeah. If you're handy with wood and tools and whatnot, like building your own, but again, not everybody has saws and whatnot.
Yep, and Joel made a great suggestion, is just going. Walmart has them too. These collapsible tables that are 30 by 72 inches, and so you can put two of those side by side. That is significantly easier than the thing I have. Big thing for me is I can't store a 72 foot inch table, so the collapsible one works for me.
What?
Nick says order 4 4x2 tables from Amazon and some foam mats. Yeah. There's a bunch of things that have very similar dimensions you can stack together, so that totally works. Sweet. Let's see here. Joel asked, how many Blood Reavers do you have in your collection? And he's wondering if 60 are worth keeping around.
Okay. Well, this is a hobby shame, I guess. Confession. I have 220 Blood Reavers.
Go on.
Yeah, when I first started, I was like, "Ooh, I'd love an army of all Blood Reavers and do what is it? Not Night Feast, but Dark Feast."
Yeah.
So the thing I wanted an all Blood Reaver Dark Feast army. This is going to be amazing. And just this was like when I first got in the game. And I like when I first got in the game, it was when nobody played, like I mentioned, and you can just clean up on eBay, and you can get. Yes, I have a lot of Blood Reapers, and you could just get stuff extremely cheap. And Blood Reapers were in the, the beginning of the box, and so I would just bought tons of Blood Reapers, and they're sitting in a bag in my closet. Most of them are not put together. I have about 80 put together and primed and stuff, and like even started as far as like airbrushing skin tones on them. And that is like a 1 day thing, hopefully. Like I thought I'd have this much painted, so I'm not going to say, oh, I'm never going to have those painted. But Blood Reavers are very detail intensive for a 70-point unit that's going to die quickly.
Yeah, man.
So, that's how I'm Blood Reaver. And so 60 is not enough. But I do in units of 10. So it's like, small, like even though you don't get the discount, but when that small unit dies, you get a blood tide point. So I like small minimum units, just spamming them.
Yep.
I'm just afraid that they're going to nerf Chaos War Shrines in the book or something, because right now they're too good for Khorne, because they count as a totem, which were really good for Blood Reavers because you get +1 attack, and they get prayers, and they get Khorne prayers, and so I could see that changing. And they don't count as a behemoth, I don't think, and they don't count as a character.
Yeah,
they might be behemoths, but they don't count as a character, and they're priests.
They might change the prayer list to saying, rather than saying Khorne priest, than saying blood brown priest, because that's the only.
Yeah, true.
That would probably be a pretty simple change, but I don't know. But yeah, the War Shrine is amazing. I love that model. Still working on mine.
I wish I knew about the priest thing before. I would have 4 right now, I guarantee you.
Are you still actively building Khorne, or you kind of put that on hold for right now?
It's on hold. It's like, I've had 2. It's going to come up as soon as the book comes out.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I kind of want to get these Flesh Eaters done. I think Khorne will happen before Slaanesh now, sadly. Slaanesh and my babies, but it's one of those things you kind of start, when we started the channel, we didn't think it'd get, as big as it has gotten, which is, it's cool, but it's also like, now I'm starting to think about doing stuff for this channel. Like this Flesh Eater Courts Carrion Empire thing is specifically for the channel.
Yeah. So. You see that as a good thing, or you see it just as different?
Good. It's good. It's like I want it to be more professional, but there are aspects that I think we can improve on. And like we're almost to the point where we can be told we're going to get tomes early and not. So we're almost there.
Sweet.
Be just like Doug.
Oh, no, not really. I got a bunch of 40K stuff, and then the well went dry.
Yeah, I say we're going to be told that we're going to get battle tomes and not get them early.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's funny, and like also like so I was oh look, somebody gave you some money. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. That's so kind of you. Skaven. Oh, and keep the great work. Yeah. We'll talk about Skaven here in a little bit, just to say thank you. Go on, what were you going to say, Jack?
I don't remember. Oh, as far as the sketches, yeah, I love doing the sketches for the show. It's fun to come up with them. Yeah, I was going to talk about sketches, but I'm going to talk about Skaven, if they exist.
Yes, they exist. I am so excited for that book release. Not just like I don't have a desire to play the army, but it's just one of those things. Like whenever a faction that like has been in the lore a whole bunch,
iconic faction.
Yeah, they have without a book. They've been I'm trying to think, with the exception of humans, they are the faction that gets the most mentions without actually having a book. I'm pretty sure. I can't think of another one. Again, humans, but
they just had two very well-selling games, Vermintide.
Yeah, dude.
Based around Skaven. Now they're awesome. They're a very cool IP, as like GW like to say a lot now. They're amazing, and I'm glad they got a book.
Yeah, you and I have been playing some Vermintide, and it is awesome.
Beautiful game.
Oh, such good stuff.
Let's quit this last chat and go play some Vermintide now.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Question: what happened to your program, Doug? Joel, can you expand upon that? Did everyone see and hear me okay? Kind of an odd question. But yeah, so let's see here. New Skaven book looks amazing. Them and the Gloomspite do work in tourneys. I think because of the sheer amount of options they have, I think Skaven's going to be a real contender for if you're a competitive player.
I agree. I think they lost the mortar team, right? But I think they gained the master molder. Is he called?
I have no idea, but I'm sure what they gained is insignificant compared to what they gained.
Yeah, it's a beautiful army. I think they'll be awesome. It's.
Yep. Oh, Joel asked what happened to my early getting stuff early program. Nothing actually happened. Basically, what happened was I got two things. I got Speed Freaks and Blackstone Fortress early, but I don't cover those games. And then when I moved, ever since I moved, I haven't. They've been sending me they sent me Gloomspite Gits right after that. Never got it. And then I got told that even if Flesh Eater Court stuff was on the way, and never got it. So, yeah. So I don't actually know what's going on. I've tried to communicate my address multiple times, but I think people don't understand that, when the gods descend and GW chooses you, basically they just say, hey, this is coming. There's not really a tracking number, any kind of real communication on that way. So it just comes if it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I go out and buy it, and I'm happy to, because that's what I did for the longest time, and that's why I thank my patrons. You just,
Honestly, I think you need to put more exclamation points in the titles of your videos.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll.
As I predicted.
Exactly. So, yeah. And Reflex Training Dog says another implant. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you.
As far as Skaven, what really I was very excited about was the fact that I know it probably really pissed some people off though, but that happens in this. That the Storm Fiends, you can only take a certain item once out of every three. So a third of them can be equipped in one with one loadout. So it's kind of, I think it's cool. You're not spamming the same thing over and over, but I think that's happening to everything going forward.
Totally, and it's one of those things. If you were surprised by it, you can be upset about it either way. I don't care. But if you were surprised by it, you weren't looking at what they're doing for other units. The Thunders are the same thing. Arcanaut Company need it. Just saying hey, when we sell a kit, we want to support that kit and nothing outside of it, right? Everything needs to be a self-contained design thing, I guess. All options and stuff included. So I don't know. Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think it's really good. Plus, it's a good mix of ranged ability and melee, and it's just all the things they're good at. Is there any option that all of them can take universally?
Oh, the Storm Fiends?
Yeah.
No, it's it says only one 1 to 3 models can be equipped with this.
Okay, I only ask because the Grunstock Thunders and the these balloon dudes, the way they're all written is they all have a base weapon, but then they can each take one of each of the other special things. You can't stack them anymore, but there is that kind of base generic.
I'm not sure. Maybe they get a melee attack. I'd have to look at it.
No
excited for Mark and his Skaven.
Man, I'm so excited for him. I know he's all about Wanderers, but
and Mark is just never satisfied, like a prince said.
I thought you were gonna say was it is it Blades of Fire or whatever? When Blades of Glory with Will Ferrell in the ice skating movie.
Oh yeah.
He's like, ice skating will satisfy you like a $10 hooker, and then he just slams the table. He's like, I am never satisfied. Like, super out of context. Yeah, love it. Doom and Darkness joins us. What is up, friend? Love all your content. Super coverage of the CanCon list and the post game. Sat there, got so much painted to your well, basically battle report as you wrapped up all kinds of stuff. So Rave Wargaming threw $2 in the tip jar. Thank you so much. Corn getting priest spells is sexy. That is legit. Yeah, I'm curious. I'm not going to assume that they're prayer related. That would make sense. I'm curious if they're going to go with blood tithe points or prayers. Could be a mix. Who knows?
I have Doom Darkness is in the chat, and he brought up something that I'm not a huge fan of as well. What do you think about proxying, especially at a tournament? Because I don't practice proxy myself, but I just know I'm not a huge fan of it. Like, oh, this is this, but it's supposed to be that.
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Oh, dang it. Okay. Well, are you talking about this example he gave in his video?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, it was they were proxying like a Grand Alliance Order army, I think, with a bunch of random other models. My thing is, in that scenario, the TO gave it the okay, and that's the end of the discussion. I'm more upset with the TO in that situation than I am with anyone else.
Yeah.
As far as
it's not the TO giving you a buy, but
right. So that was, I think that situation is pretty clear. It's like, no, that was just a tournament organizer decision, and those can be reviewed and worked on for next year. That's cool. But as far as in general, if you're going to come to me and be like, hey, Doug, I want to try this army before I buy it, that's cool. Do whatever. If it became a regular thing, I wouldn't be a fan. I don't know at what point I would tell you to just shut up and go buy stuff, but I don't know.
Yeah, gotcha.
Let's see. The thing was that it was not allowed in the player's pack. Okay, that's a big thing. When the player sent his models through for approval, he sent the conversions, but not the proxies. Okay, so that is a different thing. So yeah, he's a little more responsible than the TO in that sense, because that way he read the rules and still just didn't give the TO the information. He gave him the information for the proxies, but not, or the conversions, but not the proxies.
Understood.
That's a bummer. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a fan of that. But yeah, I don't know. Like, part of it is if it's just game night, I don't care. Like, honestly, I don't really care. But if it's you pay to go to an event, you pay for an experience, and it's up to the organizers of that event and also all the people attending to make sure that experience that you're all paying for is achieved. And it's not cool.
Understood.
He had a great game against the opponent, unless, yeah, dude, it's kind of brutal. Like, I enjoyed the report. Honestly, I just stopped looking at the screen because I have trouble if someone brings proxies and stuff like that, keeping track of what's what. So I just listened to it, and it sounds like it was a really fun game. Let's see. Okay, that guy. These guys are going to look so cool.
Both concentrating on paying.
Yeah, well, there's like this little thing. It's paying a different model. So there's just this little detail that I almost missed, and I would have been kicking myself if I did. This is a Grunstock Thunderer.
Understood.
What is going on? Rave Wargaming. Corn spells equals oceans and oceans of blood. Yeah, the one. Tell me, Rave Warg, what your favorite thing is. But I love the skull that's crying tears. so far is my favorite one.
They're all beautiful. The rack accents rending reality. That's amazing.
Yep. Yeah, that one. I dig it. There are some folks who said they didn't quite care for it. I think they're crazy. I think it looks awesome. But my favorite is the Crying Blood, and seconded by the other one, who it's like the big corn like totem thing or symbol, not totem.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm super jazzed for all of those.
It's been a while before that GW has put something out where I'm just like, meh. They've been on a streak for me anyway.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'm trying to think of the last model that I didn't actually care for. I can't think of one. What were the last few releases? Beast of Chaos.
Gloomspite.
Beast of
Chaos. Yeah, they've been decent. There's nothing I really like. No, thank you. Anybody in the chat? Any model? That recent model? There's like, not for me.
Yeah, I mean, like none of the Gloomspite stuff reached out to me in enough way that make me want to buy it. But that's different than saying like, it's not a bad sculpt at all. It just.
I mean, I guess if you're reaching out the Sanguinius thing, it looked weird. Like the placement of his feet.
Yeah, let's do some hot takes for a game that neither of us play.
Yeah,
I don't care for that one. This, there was a principle that I read about once when it came to like designing characters and like how to do comic book strip things.
Like Principal Skinner.
Yeah, no, it's this idea of how to show motion when you have a single image to show it, or in our case, a model to sculpt it to. It was the idea that like, if you're going to show someone punching, either show them with your fist already out in the kapow thing, or when your fist is like up against your shoulder, like you're winding up for the punch. If you do it in the middle, it's this kind of awkward. Is he punching? Is he not? Is he just throwing his arm up there in defense? Well, you don't know what they're doing. So the idea being is to show motion, you either show the beginning of an action or the end of an action, and our brains understand it. But if you do something in the middle, it doesn't quite make sense. So if you have Harvey Birdman, who's not quite landed on the ground, but is not quite taking off, he's just kind of like legs dangling awkwardly, which I think is what he looks like. I don't think it quite pans out very well.
Did you just call Sanguinius Harvey Birdman?
I did, yes.
It's to 40K players. I'm learning 40K. I'm like understanding stuff. There's some YouTube channels I got recommended, so I've been listening to it. And like he's like a big muckety muck in there.
Yeah, he's a big deal.
And now, if I did play 40K, which army I'd be? Like all those Gene Stealer cults look beautiful, but not a huge fan of that. But I don't know. They all seem so cool. I like the Dark Eldar. I saw this snake guy, and I was like, ooh, I wish that was a AOS army. Just
the Slith.
Yeah, he looks so cool.
Love it.
And I was like, oh, maybe I should play Kill Team. And then I'm like, oh, nope, I don't have to play Kill Team anymore. I can play Warcry.
Yeah.
Which I like the name. Pretty cool.
Yep. I hope that it's called Warcry and Warcry is not like the chapter. Like I think Shadespire is a great game name, and then they're like, no, it's Warhammer Underworlds. I'm like, that's too lengthy and clunky. It's Shadespire. Yeah. Get your marketing team in order. It's Shadespire.
When was the last time you played Warhammer Underworld?
I gotcha. That one time that you and I and Mark did like that 3-way game.
That was the last time I played Warhammer Underworlds as well. It just didn't stick to me anyway. I'm sure some people play it and love it.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it'll be different with this Thursday night thing. The thing is that at the time, the only time I would get AOS games in is if I drove all the way down to Renton with you guys. And so, like, if I'm all the way down there, no, I want to play AOS. Like, you know what I mean? It just...
True. I love the models, but I love the models for AOS.
Oh my goodness, yeah, and they're astounding. And so, one rumor that I heard was that like it's the team that made Underworlds and Kill Team. So the idea being, oh, it'll be a game, but it'll just use the warbands from Shadespire and Nightvolt.
Mm-hmm.
So just doing a skirmish game that's like Kill Team, but specifically with those warbands instead of like opening it up. I'm like, I'm even okay with that. I would go out right now and buy 3 of those things.
Yeah, and I think it increased their sales. So I'm fine with
Oh
that.
yeah. So if it gets the full Kill Team treatment where they have a bunch of units you can grab from, or it's just a few very specific ones like the warbands, I don't care either way. I think it'll be great.
So I've never played Kill Team. Can you go up levels if you do really well?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can gain experience, or if you're playing a one-off game, you can basically buy levels, basically. So you can have like a bunch of crap dudes, and then your one sniper is like very experienced kind of thing for one-off games. But traditionally, it's more for campaigns where you can escalate as you go.
That's what I really like.
Yep,
Just
yep.
getting attached to a character and like, okay, this guy. So I like about if you could like mix Path to Glory and Warcry, something like that. Start off with Warcry, then turn it into Path to Glory, and so you're following this character from a warband into a full-fledged army. That's really cool.
Yeah, man.
Little narrative thing.
Let's make that happen.
For sure. For sure.
Assuming that's what Warcry is, because all we got was, a picture and some music. Yeah.
What
They're
would
gonna.
like AOS YouTube stuff be without wild predictions and
I
stuff?
know. They're totally gonna bait and switch us.
I predicted. I called that. Remember, you guys remember? That's one thing we're getting into. Like people are obsessed with predicting stuff.
Oh, I love it.
Like I couldn't care less.
Part of me wants them to like absolutely like totally bait and switch and like this is gonna be Dreadfleet round 2. Everyone ship to ship combat.
I'm like, there's this quote. I forget who it's by, but it's like I think it's those who have knowledge, like don't predict, and those I'll look it up. I'm butchering it right now, but it's a quote, and I'm like, because I when I see something, okay, now I understand, and I'll accept it. But I don't waste my time guessing.
Yeah, I have I think there is room to talk about things and like what might be, but actually making like I don't know assertions, predictions. No, not a huge fan of that stuff.
It's Lao Tzu, and those who have knowledge don't predict. Those who predict don't have knowledge.
There you go.
Mic drop. Well, paintbrush drop.
It's not as loud as the mic, but it means more in this context. Let's see here. Gage Porter, Slaves to Darkness and Ever Chosen should definitely be the next battle tome.
You got 2 chaos tomes in a row.
Oh yeah, because Corn, right?
Yeah, so Corn and Skaven. It always weirds me out putting a Skaven into chaos, but yeah. So I think it would be something else, not destruction, because this Gloomspite gets. So
what I want to answer Doom and Darkness's question is I want free people so stinking bad.
I really like what Vince said when they did their fixing AOS kind of show, where free peoples got rolled into elves and dwarves and just defenders of the realm. I think that's a great idea. I would love to see that more than just a human faction. Just roll all the free people, like free humanoid kind of the people, not followers of Sigmar, but you understand what I'm saying. The people who lived in it for all those years.
The people who are survivors and they made it.
Yeah. The kind of grand alliance of elves, dwarves, and men. Those people.
I wouldn't be opposed to that. I also think, the thing about humans is in this context is like they need to be as rich and diverse as they were in the old world, I think, for sure. So like I want to see different cities really represented. You know what I mean?
I think they're way more diverse now than they were in the old world. the old world, you had Bretonians, Dogs of War. If you go even further back, Bretonians and Empire. That was your humans.
Yeah.
And now, just listening to the audiobooks, they paint such a, like, I'm going to talk about again the Gotrek audio drama. It's like it was it was awesome, and they had all these different people coming through there. There was this Prince guy who was Gotrek's sidekick for a little bit of the book, the audio drama, and like you can tell he was, well, I'm going to say African, but he's not really African, but he lived on, he had the accent, about his skin color and whatnot, and you did not like get that in old Warhammer unless you go far back and look at pygmies, which you shouldn't Google that. And it's like, I'm black myself, and I never thought I couldn't play Warhammer as a black person. Been playing since I was 9, and I just never occurs to me that this isn't for me. But some people it does,
Yeah.
I can't say you're wrong for thinking like this is not for you, but it being more diverse is a good thing. I don't think too much about it.
Totally. No, yeah. Totally agree. Throw these guys off to the side.
All I can say is like I look at pictures from like CanCon and like Warhammer Fest, and it looks like Wakanda for white people.
There you go. Oh, I love it. Let's see here.
But I definitely want to go to LVO next year. I'm going to Nova this year. I already signed up for vacation. And I'm going to West Coast GT in Vancouver in April. So I'm starting to travel.
Making the rounds, dude. Yeah, I mean, I gotta do my taxes next weekend and see if what is it? Nova is on the docket. I don't know, man. I might even try to like a GoFundMe if I really need a little extra help, but just help me get there. I've had a few people message me privately and say that I should try that. I don't know, but I really want to start getting around and meeting people.
Yeah, it's fun. Like I'm going even to Portland, which is just like an hour and a half south.
Mm-hmm.
Next month that I'm going to. So,
love it. What's going on in Portland?
It's Rose City Grand Tournament. It's just a tournament. So, but it's a 2-day event. So it's 5 games, 3 one day and 2 the next.
Oh, sweet.
And so, and like my army is definitely it's good at 3-day tournaments, but 5-day tournaments or 5-game tournaments are probably going to point out my flaws in the list. But I like shooting stuff, so I'm okay.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, but I feel like your list is great for another reason, which is like you're either gonna win or you're gonna lose, and it's gonna happen pretty fast.
I'm gonna table you and lose.
Yeah, you're gonna win or you're gonna lose, and that's either way. It's gonna happen fast, so I can sit down, catch my breath, get a Dasani.
All my games, I've never run out of time.
Yep.
I'm always waiting for something to happen.
Ravework says, "Okay, guys, Doug needs a sugar daddy to get him to Nova." That's funny. Hey, man, Mini Warming got a sugar daddy to help them get a new building. I can get the Nova. Let's see. Just making sure everyone is dry before I start smashing wash all over them. I'm digging this scheme. It's nice and simple, but yeah. Let's see. I love the fact of painting 5 guys and it's 100 points compared to the 10 gore for 80, just in terms of hobby progress.
Oh, yeah.
It's like I'm gonna have 1,000-point army done really fast.
And knocking out 15 liberators from my battle line was like, ooh, that's nice.
Yeah. Let's see. Human Darkness said the most amazing thing is meeting people at tournaments. I can vouch for that. Like I went to the competitive event. Well, I did 2 of them so far. One of them I finished, but both times it was really about hanging out with some fun people. I really, really enjoyed that. All the salty ones are gone by turn 1 or round 1. I At the last event, there was like 2 people who were a little upset at the prospect of losing round 1. I was like, really?
Yeah, I've heard horror stories from like 40K people actually being upset. This is like the whack players, the win at all costs, being upset about first round opponents because they know they can't table them in fast enough to get the full victory points or anything, so they won't be at the top of the leaderboard. But because I've only heard people talk about it, I've never seen it, so could be like razor blades and kids candy at Halloween. Could just be a rumor.
We should do a skit on that Warhammer Urban Legends.
Oh, you didn't know the guy?
Yeah. This one time, a friend.
This guy burned his army. You should like. Actually, that actually happened.
Yeah. Getting too real.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Actually got you can see, look over there. Let's see. I got all the end times books.
Oh yeah. I was like, Nagash the board game.
Because I'm always curious. You can kind of see it. You can watch as many videos, and I listen to Vince, I think Relian and some other guys kind of break down all the end times books, and I just want to sit down and go through it myself.
Yeah.
Like, is it really bad as people say? Is growing up playing, like, I have no really attachment because I had already stopped playing Warhammer for like 15 years.
Yeah.
So when I came back, the end times had happened. So it was just like, oh, I didn't have to sit through it, and I'm just hearing everybody say, oh, it was awful, it was written poorly, whatnot. And now I kind of want to go through it, and maybe I have a different opinion because there are people who like it.
I enjoyed it. I mean, the Thankful as the Skaven heavy book, that was my absolute favorite one of those. It was an absolute joy to read. Mainly because I like the city of Nuln in the lore, and that is when Nuln falls.
Yes.
Spoiler alert if you didn't know, Nuln falls in the old world. So
you like because of the oil?
Say what?
You like Nuln because of the oil?
Yes. They are the munitions manufacturers of the Empire, and a bunch of really key buildings blow up, and there's a really cool sergeant guy who's like leading the resistance against Skaven. It's a great scene.
That's awesome. I'm in the middle of reading / listening to the audiobook of the Neve Blacktalon, and it's really once you get past the okay, it's another book about Stormcast, which can be very repetitive and boring at times. It's like, I get it, you love Sigmar, I get it. Now you're starting to forget stuff. Okay, yeah. For only the faithful. Stuff. Yeah. And so, but yeah, it's very interesting. Her backstory is actually pretty cool. I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, she's a very cool backstory.
Yeah, I'm actually going to read that after I'm done with Black Pyramid and review it. Just off of what you told me, it sounds incredible, like a good video fodder.
Yeah, I think book reports would be. I'm not saying just more content if you're looking for stuff, but these are taking a lot longer to read. So.
Yeah, that's kind of always been the thing. People have asked about lore for like, hey, do a video following all of Gardas' adventures. Like, man, that's like 9 books, yo.
I think someone in your chat earlier today, someone mentioned if someone could make a timeline of all the books. Like, all right, this goes before this book. And like, okay, when do the audio dramas take place and whatnot? Because it has Manfred in it. And like when I listened to the audio drama, what it confused me because it made it seem like Manfred was a new Manfred. Like he wasn't the same guy who destroyed the old world, but in fact, he's the same guy.
He is in fact the same guy, but he does act very different. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I was like, I thought maybe he just is the same name, but kind of. And now I'm thinking there are no characters who are the same name. If you have the same name, you're the same guy from the old world. Like it's the same Lord Croak, the same Thankful. I'm really curious to see if they elaborate on Thankful in the battle tome.
Yeah, I don't. I really hope they do. You know, even if it's just as simple as like he is the Great Horn Rats champion, like giving him that extra bit of authority would be cool.
I got a question for you and the chat. Which Skaven special character do you miss the most?
Um,
I was a huge Icket Claw guy. I loved him.
he's the engineer guy, right?
Yeah, he's the Arch Warlock.
Yeah.
That was a huge, beautiful model. Loved even the old model, the old Hammer model. Loved his claw. Loved the whole thing. Loved that he had a flamethrower in his hand.
Yeah.
Okay, Doom Darkness wants Vlad back.
Oh my gosh, Vlad von Karstein is amazing.
You can play Total War. Get all the Vlad you want.
Oh, is he on there really?
Yep.
Oh, that's happening.
Yeah. Characters that I, from my childhood, I was a huge Gotrek and Felix. Loved Teclis because I was a the younger brother. They're twins though, but I was definitely not as strong and as my brother. My brother was super alpha.
I was gonna say Teclis just because like when I got into fantasy, it was towards the end of 8th, and so I basically like because there's so much lore for the old world, I just picked a faction and dove into that. So I did High Elves.
That was my first army too. High Elves.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
had
but
an absolute blast.
Back in the 5th edition box set, I think, where you had like the paper cardboard tower and like the guy on Griffin. What's his name? You remember the guy who rode the Griffin, High Elf?
Oh, the Griffin.
Arion or something like that. I don't know. They have weird names. But yeah, I played. I think that's 5th edition, or no, 4th edition. That's 4th.
I don't remember. I got in with Island of Blood.
Yeah, I played 4th edition as a kid. I had all the goblins and the high elves and stuff, and I lose every game, but it's tough when you're little, and all your tactics are just put your guys on the table and go forward, and hopefully you win. And my brother had tactics and BS like that.
Yeah. Love it. Yeah, I'd probably say Teclis for mine, just because he's one of the few characters I actually know.
And I'm excited that he could be back in the game.
Yeah, well, we know he's back in some capacity. I don't know if he'll get a model, but yeah, no, it's super legit. I mean, they've already mentioned him a few times in the Deepkin book. He's their Padre.
Yeah, that's right.
Deadbeat dad level deity.
Well, what deities do you think we'll see? I think we'll get a Malarian character.
For sure. Yeah, that sounds cool. I mean, like in the game, you mean like the physical models? Teclis and Tyrion could definitely be there.
Someday we may get a Sigmar. I'm not, there's all kind of chambers and Stormcast is constantly going to be getting stuff, which I'm not mad at as well. Some people are very upset with that, but it's like this game is alive. It's progressing. It's not just here's 8th edition. It's a growing game, which is really cool.
Yep.
So just more stuff is good, even if it's not a faction that you play. Again, going back to the game is just keep advancing, and I think that's just take my money, or should I say, Mox, take my money and give me 20% off.
Exactly. Yeah.
Those things like, how do you sell this stuff 20% just off the rack?
Yeah, I don't quite understand their model.
Before. We probably shouldn't say anymore.
Oh no, it's fine. It's whatever. Hey, it's public. It's whatever.
Yeah,
let's see here. Let's see. I'm just reading through the chat here real quick. Someone wants to see Cetra return. We were just chatting that because of my limited lore knowledge, when people get really excited about Cetra, I don't understand.
Yeah, hype. 100% with you. I'm like, I missed that was in the chunk that I didn't play.
Yeah.
So Cetra doesn't mean anything to me. or Team Kings for that matter, they weren't out when I played Fantasy Battles. So like people are like, oh, Cetra this, never this. They're like, how about Burlock Damerson, huh? He has a big old metal fist.
Love it. Let's see. Most local stores do 10% off. Yeah, it's they're kind of unique in that. I think they try to do lower prices at Mox just to get more people in for events and things like that. But I don't know. That's also where I got my first Age of Sigmar models. It was the starter set, the Khorne and Stormcast starter set.
Oh yeah.
Got it 60% off because they were clearing out stuff because they're like, nobody plays Sigmar. I was like,
did you paint them all up?
Huh?
Did you paint all those up?
Yep.
Do you have pictures of armies that you've gotten rid of? I'd love to see, like your Khorne, your Bone Splitters. You had Zinch. I played against your Zinch. I'm really regretting that they never were on Rerolling ones. You bought them, painted them, played them, and just never got them on the channel.
That's how fast time keeps on slipping sometimes. You got to keep up with my problem.
like I mentioned, I wish there was a timeline of the GW books. I need a timeline of Doug Griggs on AOS. First, I played this, then I traded it for this, and I got that, and I painted it, and I traded it for this, and this begat that, begat this, like the
exactly, yeah. I gotta make it like a family tree, like a scrapbook or whatever.
Like, I adopted 2 of your kids. You got visitation rights.
Exactly.
Like, don't get rid of any more armies without talking to me first.
I should do that. I'm pretty sure I can go on Facebook and like look at the history of like the Northwest Wargaming Group and see my previous posts when I was selling everything.
When I first met you, you had Stormcast.
That is right, because I got stomped. Yeah. That was a cool Stormcast. I mean, that was Hallowed Knights.
Hallowed Knights, yep.
And those I actually got rid of because I was so upset that you couldn't actually be Hallowed Knights, because before then they didn't have any Stormhost rules in any of the books.
Who ended up? Anybody close that I know that got them?
Who got those? I don't remember.
It boggles my mind that you painted a Nagash and traded it away.
I totally forgot about that. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I was playing against somebody at the game night. Let's call Nagash. You painted him? Like, no, Doug did. And then like, oh yeah.
And then everyone stared at me, and I was just kind of like, oh yeah, dude.
Can you ballpark how many models you painted for AOS?
Do what?
Can you ballpark how many models you've painted for AOS?
Oh, total? Oh my gosh, no. Last year I think we calculated about 300.
Yeah.
No, I have no idea how many I've painted total. I paint so many models. Question. I recently started Legion of Nagash army and convinced 2 of my friends to get their own armies, Khorne and Nighthaunt respectively. We were wondering which of our armies was the best competitively.
Legion of Nagash.
Yep.
But Khorne just won CanCon, the biggest AOS tournament in the world. So, pros and cons. Nighthaunt is a solid, like, upper mid army, I think. They're like Nighthaunt is the kryptonite to my army. When I take the tournaments, one of them anyway. But they're all good armies.
Well, what I will say is that, like, in terms of if you're all newer players, Nagash probably has the easiest win button in terms of bringing things back at full health. But no. Tabletop experience. Doug just needs to go ahead and pull the trigger and become a commissioned painter. No, I can't do that. Honestly, I've taken on commissions before and I fail spectacularly at most of them because if I'm not into it personally, like for my own gains, I can't. Painting, I can't paint without any kind of motivation or anything like that. So,
so we just learned that Doug's selfish. Interesting.
Exactly. Yes. 100%.
Yeah, there's no way I could Yeah, nobody's asking me to do commission stuff, but I can barely paint for myself. Yeah, Mark, on the other hand, is he's too generous sometimes. Mark is Shoe from Rerolling Ones, and like he's painting somebody's exalted greater demon of Zinch as we speak,
Nope.
just for like a kind of a trade. The guy was like, "All right, will you paint a model for me if I do this?" And he's like, "Sure." And it happened to be an exalted greater demon of Zinch. I would have told him, I was like, "Go yourself." Yeah. There's no way. What a what a shady move. Yeah, it's just this, I guess, one model. Oh, yeah.
Love it.
I hope he just phones in the paint job. I'm not looking like a KO boat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's funny. Brian Mather says Legions of Nagash is boring though, and I push back on that. I think it can be a fun army. I think the standard 2 big blobs of skeletons is boring, but like I'm a big advocate for zombies.
I've played against somebody who did zombies.
Yeah, what'd you think?
Well, my army's really good at killing Legion of Nagash, so they look good. I mean, they look okay. Those are some, I wish they got updated models. Honestly, those zombies have seen better days. What edition did they come out with? Are those Bill Clinton models or are they
Exactly. Yeah.
Bush models?
I have no idea. The big thing is that just in terms of your opponent's experience, like you'll be taking stuff off the table and more things are happening for your opponent.
I think Legions of Nagash is a hard army to have a fun grab a beer game with, especially if you have Nagash on the table. He's hard to not to take it easy with him.
I get that.
Whereas like you can play a fun game with Corn all day.
Let's see here. Question, Jack, have you looked at the Hurricanum for your shooting list versus Raptors?
It's right here. Well, part of it. It's sitting over here. I think first edition, I used to run Aether Strike Force, and I had 9 Raptors and a Hurricanum, and so I was doing mortal wounds on 5s. But now that it's on a unmodified 6, so you can't improve it any, and so the Hurricanum's not really useful. Plus, like the Ordinator gives my War Machines +1, so I guess you maybe if you have ballistas, give it a +2. But then you're probably running like I still have it obviously. And for my Hurricanum, what I did was I got the old Balthazar Gelt model because if you think about it, he looks like a Stormcast, just like a human pretending to be a Stormcast. You know, he has a metal helmet, but he's not as big, so I'm going to have him as my wizard on there. And I'll get to painting it eventually. It might be good for like a Grand Alliance Order army that's heavy shooting.
Yeah.
But yes, I have thought about the Hurricanum, and I used to run it. And I'm going to have a Dracoth pulling it.
That sounds legit. Let's see here. Unfortunately, I don't have a Nagash as of yet. Arcan will have to suffice. Arcan's fun for Legion of Nagash.
Just don't put a Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon and give him the Ethereal Amulet, and your opponent will have fun.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, there's some... It goes both ways. Like some armies, when people just start, I feel inclined to be like, hey, you know, if someone was like, I love the KO models, I would encourage you to buy them. But at the same time, be like, hey, just so you know, this army plays different than anyone else. And that's for good and for bad. You know what I mean? Just kind of prep them. At the same time, like Legion of Nagash players, like, you have the potential to create some very unfun game experiences.
What would you think about running a Hurricanum in your KO army? It'd be cool conversion, like put it in the sky, like it's a floating hurricanum.
What does it do? He asked the question. I have no idea what that unit actually does.
One hit bubble, and it's actually a wizard as well. Like I think he has the Comet of Cassador spell. But yeah, he's a wizard, and he can. I think he does a shot as well, like a magical shot. I'll have to look at it again. It's been a while. Yeah. And also, like, I take a Knight Azeros, which is amazing. It's because you can reroll hit rolls of 1 for if he shine, enemy units within 10 inches. If you target those units, you reroll hit rolls of 1, and long strikes are already hitting on 2s. And so 2 to hit rerolling 1s, you're gonna hit. And then you're wounding on 3s, -2 Ren. So they're very nice. And also when you hit on a 6, it's 2 mortal wounds. And so I run a lot of those. But then, again, it's 540 points for 9 of them.
Yep.
So a third of your army. But Nagash is, what is he, 800?
Yeah, I believe so. If not, he's near there.
Could be even more. Like my army, I can kill if I get my translocation off on a 3-up. So I'm teleporting my Azeros outside of 9 inches from Nagash. I can kill him my turn 1. Which is not fun for Nagash. Like my army's not fun to play against either.
yeah, but I mean,
but he's Nagash. Nobody likes Nagash. Number 1 Nagash shaming channel.
Oh my gosh, not by any stretch. But at the same time, it's very hard to, I think, accurately portray the power of a god on the tabletop. And keep the game balanced, but not do them a disservice. I think that's a very hard thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
That's what the only fear about having like Malarion or Sigmar on the table is I'd feel the same way. Like when again, same thing with Ilario. Like I can shoot her off turn 1. It's like, but she's a god. You shouldn't be able to do that. Yeah. That's why I like Morathi, because you can't do that.
Right. Cage Force isn't being personally attacked right now. No. Nagash is awesome. I do poke a lot of fun at Nagash though. Like I love in the Flesh Eater Courts, the end of the spells that like Nagash gets this as well. I'm like, yeah.
But he's a lot of points.
He is. I mean, if you're taking Nagash, it's a Nagash list first and foremost. Besides being a death or whatever, like he is the defining thing of that army.
And I was thinking about getting that dragon when I got my tax return, but every YouTube battle report channel has him. So I'm like, somebody wants to see him, they can see him.
Oh, the corn dragon?
Yeah.
How much is he again?
$500 maybe? Yeah. So maybe not. Maybe I won't do that. But I am excited for Slash.
I'm really excited for Forge World maybe doing AOS stuff again. Or fantasy stuff again.
Good old Forge World. We say that all the time. I guess I'll point out where that's from, if anybody cares. We say good old Forge World all the time on the Rerolling Ones channel. And what we got it from is there's a Frontline Wargaming? Is that the name?
Yeah, Frontline Gaming, yep.
Oh, Frontline Gaming. And the guy, I don't know his name, the great guys, he kind of sounds like Kermit the Frog.
It's Reese Robbins,
yes. Reese. He was playing this is back in first edition. He was playing his Free Peoples versus somebody who was playing Nighthawk. And one of the things I don't like about on battle reports is when somebody's losing and they are a sore loser.
Yeah, like, belly aching, yeah.
Unenjoyable to watch. Somebody complain about losing so much. And he was having a moan. He was whinging. And the guy had two more, like a Mornfang. He was like, good old Forge World. And he kept saying it over and over in his battle. And so anytime something bad happens, we say good old Forge World. even if it's not applicable. But inside joke.
I love it. Reflex dog training. Thank you so much for your support. It says 5 Vermin Lords combined via Voltron.
Dude, it would be awesome, just like the cat Voltron, but all like rats. So, and like one of them is the pestilent hand, and he kind of sprays out pestilence through it. What would be the head? Probably that Screech King guy.
Probably, yeah. He has the biggest head of horns.
Yeah, he would be the. I was more of a Power Rangers guy, so he can. We think of Skaven Power Rangers pun.
Yeah, the Megazord.
Yeah.
Oh man. Wouldn't that just be the Rat King? Oh, yeah, I mean, maybe that's what the Great Horned Rat is.
Rat King from Ninja Turtles. His name was Rat King.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a Ninja Turtles bad guy. To be in your late 30s.
What a time to be alive.
I mean, I'm in my late 30s now. I went from my mid 30s to my late 30s. This sucks.
I'll be joining you in July, turn 30.
You're 29?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, go. 37.
Oh, that's funny.
Looking like Hodor. Screw you. We were going to do a sketch. We decided not to, where each of us played a mini war gaming personality. And Doug was going to be Steve. It was going to be funny.
I love Steve so much.
Steve's my favorite. I love Steve.
That's funny.
I like everybody. I mean, I like everybody. What's that guy? He doesn't work there anymore. Played Zinch a lot.
Oh, Quark.
I like Quark. I like them all. I'm not gonna say I don't like, but yeah, they're all cool guys. Yeah, I have much more respect for them. I can tell you that, because it's a lot harder to get everything right when you're playing.
Oh my goodness! Yeah.
And you're trying to record a game and whatnot. And now we're getting we're growing in popularity. We have a lot of people who want to be on the channel, especially locally. And so we're trying to okay, maybe we can do that, but it's so hard to record a game and play. Like Mark did it once.
Yeah.
And it's a lot harder, where we have the ability, we just pass it back and forth. And I don't know if we pass it back and forth with somebody who is not part of the channel, I guess.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's super difficult, and it's also difficult because not everyone has the personality for the vibe you want to go for.
Yeah.
Which can sound like a really mean thing to say, but you see on when you work the best guests they have are the ones who are very engaging and have a laugh, and you know what I mean. I don't know.
I really like the teacher guy who sings all the time, but obviously I like people sing all the time. I sing all the time, but I think they have to cut it out because they don't want to get strikes or something, probably.
Yep. Yeah, that likely makes sense. Who is Jack going to be from Mini Wargaming Crew?
They had this intern guy. I think he was Indian or whatever. I guess I'd have to be him. I don't think
you don't have to be shoehorned into a minority.
Yeah, I'll be Luca.
2019, man.
This is a tight shirt. I'll be Luca.
There you go.
They all wear super tight shirts. I didn't realize I was wearing this. He was like, "Yeah, you just be on a shirt."
With some super awesome cat images that I love.
Yeah.
Love it.
Matt wears some really tight shirts. Not as bad as Ash on the latest book reports that he did. Can you breathe in those? I can see your nipples, brother.
You good?
Pretty good.
That's funny. I didn't actually see that one. Is that with the Gloomspite Git book or whatever, or the Skaven book?
With the Flesh Eater Courts and Skaven books.
Yeah.
New ones, yeah. So I was like, woo, that was painted on.
It looks painted on. Oh, that's awesome. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Jacob asked what we're painting. I am painting Grunstock Thunders and 3 Endrin Riggers. And Jack, what are you still working on? You still working on Tergeist?
Tergeist.
Nice.
Is one of the wings. I got it all glued together, and the thing is a pain in the butt to paint when it's all assembled. So I ripped the wings off.
Yep. Okay. Let's see. How else want to come play you guys for the fun of it? But alas, I live in Texas. Yeah, I'm from Texas. Quite a lot going down there. If you listen to the Ever Chosen podcast, it's a local group of guys trying to get a Texas scene going. More competitive side stuff, but still cool.
I probably should listen to some more podcasts. I just mainly listen to you, honestly. It's not a podcast. I don't listen to podcasts. I just stream your YouTube show. So for those, like I use YouTube Red, which is amazing because you can stream stuff with the screen off.
Mm-hmm.
So love you, love Warhammer Weekly. Definitely Warhammer Weekly, and you helped me get into this game so much more.
Dude.
And it's weird now being kind of mentioned by people that, hey, you helped me get into AOS. I'm like, wow, I was in your shoes a year earlier.
And you met your hero Doug, and you kicked his tail at Stormcast, and then you just kept on playing.
And then we became friends.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Preach the good word of YouTube Red. Yeah, I love it. I have it as well. I watch too much YouTube to not. I would spend too much of my life watching ads.
Yeah.
But I also use YouTube for work, so.
You can write it off.
Yeah. All right. Getting there, these guys.
Do you have a video that you've produced that you're most proud of, like some lore thing or?
Probably the Realm Gate War series. I was really happy with how that came together. Yeah, no, that was definitely my favorite one by quite a while, just because the books were great. Made a sweet intro for it.
I think someone mentioned it in the show earlier, but I think it's a great idea to do a video and just kind of date it, timestamp it, like where we are, like bring us up to speed to where we are now. I mean, it might maybe some older videos won't get as many views or something, but I think it'd be beautiful just to have a video like, all right, here's the story so far. We have the realm gates open, those clashes between Vandus and Corgus. 100 years goes by. Nagash causes a necroquake, and the magic goes crazy. And order has taken footholds in all the different realms. And Chaos is backpedaling, but now Nagash is making everybody backpedal.
Well, crap, you just did it right there.
There we go.
Extract the audio from this episode, throw it up there as a personal content that I made, and I'm good to
go. You need me to sign a release?
No, I'll just steal it. It's fine. No, yeah, it's definitely something I want to do, just because the further we get into the campaign style of stuff, the more that we require constant updates on what's going on. So that'll definitely happen.
Like, okay. I have a question. Is Shadespire? I mean, Warhammer Underworlds happening right now, or is this? I haven't read any of the Night Vault stuff. Like, I bought Shadespire. We played it 5 times, and so I didn't feel like buying Night Vault. Even stuff looks cool.
My understanding is that yes, it is happening right now. That the characters in there are trapped and trying to escape the city, and they'll die and be remade by the ghost spirits there. And so it's just this.
And Night Vault's a new city, right?
I think it's like a deeper part of Shadespire.
Oh, okay. It's like the hood.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Is the darkness of the hood.
It's where the Trogos hang out.
Exactly. Roll them windows up.
Trog Boulevard.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's see. Question: best lore week intro.
Like Carrion Empires, or not Carrion Empires, but the Flesh Eater Courts.
Oh, the weird instruments.
There was this super old school one where Jess did voices for it and stuff. I like those ones. You know, the sound quality is not the best, but gotta be in somewhere.
Yeah, that's when I had my $12 microphone I got off my Amazon. Because I wasn't sure if this was going to go anywhere.
I have a question for you, Doug. What's your favorite sketch from Rerolling Ones?
Probably the one where there was 2 Brents, you and him.
Oh, that was a fun one. I like those ones because they just happen organically. Yep. Like, I just noticed that Brent looks like he's wearing a costume every time I see him. And so I went on eBay and bought all the stuff that he wears every time he comes over my house. And I always notice that because his hair and his beard are different colors. And so I'm like, he reminds me of one of those, like, there's face warmers where it's like a red beard and you have the kind of the gray skull cap, which I went and bought. And I just put it on when he came over. Then we shot that intro. Like I really like the ASMR one that Mark made, Shoe made.
Oh, it's awesome.
That one is amazing. And I like the what is it? The RNN, the Rail News Network. That one was fun.
Yes. Forgot about that one. That and when y'all got the early copy of Soul Wars that Brent got in a van behind Games Workshop.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one. That was another one that we kind of just made up on the spot.
Let's see here.
Oh, Anniversary. That was a good one. I like that one.
The Anniversary? Oh, that's right. Yeah. See. Y'all got to bring back the Rail News Network, Kenzie says.
Yeah, we definitely do.
I got all kinds of news station style transitions and things like that we can do that with as well.
Oh, perfect. I want a female news anchor who's a demonette, and so I've ordered like crab claws and stuff like that, and like this is like okay. I'm friends with Amanda Knox. People might know who she is, and I showed her, like, I'm friends through her fiance. He's one of my best friends, and I showed her my sketches, and she was like, "Oh, I want to be in one." And I was like, "Oh, I can make her a news anchor," but then I'm like, I don't want it to turn into something because she's like, she has a weird level of fame where like the video would turn into something that it's not, and I don't want to see the comments get all upset and stuff.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, you murderer, because people like send her that stuff in her like every day on her like Instagram and stuff like that, because people are, just people are awful sometimes. But so I'm like, who could be a good demonette? Kinsey, fly over here and be a. You could be in the sketch.
Yes. Let's. Yeah. Let's just invite people to be demonettes to us. Yes, absolutely.
You'll be in a. She's a news anchor, so she'll have like a suit jacket on kind of thing.
I'm not suggesting any more than that. Yeah.
But yeah, like we have all these sketch ideas, but sometimes it's just hard to get everybody together.
That's honestly the hardest part of it all, for sure.
I have all like Brent is like he's extremely creative. He's a writer. He writes comic books and stuff, and he will come up with some of the greatest ideas. But it's like trying to get everybody together. Like he has this boardroom sketch that he wants to do, and it's amazing. But we're like, okay, where can we find a boardroom to record this in?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah, no, it's the real life scheduling aspect tends to be the hardest part for most of these things. What's up?
Oh, the one where I was you caught me watching Katetsu.
Oh, yeah.
I like that one. That was awesome. What are you watching? Porn? Together?
Oh, that was perfect. That was the height of the when Katetsu was making content too. He hasn't done anything in quite a while.
Yeah, I think he did Gloom Spike Gets, but before that it had been months as well. It's like I love Katetsu. Everybody, we're not like trying to crap on him, but it's not like they're like we've had a friendly rivalry, like Rerolling ones. Like I'm sure people are familiar with Venomous Wargaming, right? Because we were right around the same number for a long time, and our goal internally, like, oh, we want to get past him. Just like not crapping him or anything. Just like, oh, he was our target. Okay, let's pass him. All right, we passed him. And then there was another guy, and then we have these targets. So we want to get past him, and it's silly, but it's just it's a motivator.
It makes it a game.
Yeah. And so we were all rooting for Doug to get past Katetsu. So like, oh, come on, you're gaining. But then he stopped putting out content.
Yeah, and like just to clarify, me and that dude, we messaged each other on Facebook. Like he's a super stand-up guy.
It's all in fun. It's not like
Yep.
Like Katetsu does a great job, as he predicts.
Let's see.
We all have our crutches.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And yeah, here's the thing. There's also a group of guys who I'm sure have their eye on like, man, if I could just beat Doug in this one video, I can make a better Skaven video. Like, yeah, you can probably.
Hey, did you tell the story about that guy? You were at a Games Workshop store, and he made some sort of joke because he knew something you didn't.
Yeah, so I was at a Game Workshop store, and I think it was regarding like a more important story, and I can't remember what it was. Oh no, it was because I mixed up Teclis and Tyrion at one point, and he didn't like just correct me, but made a necessity to like let everyone know that he outsmarted the lore master for AOS. I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. Not because I'm wrong, but because you're a jerk.
Yeah, like okay, have fun.
But yeah, I'm at the point now where if anyone corrects me on things, I own up to it and I just say, you know what, I'm not an encyclopedia. My term that I describe myself is a passionate presenter.
Yeah.
And
one time you said something about the old world, and you're like, yeah, I think you said you confused like Lustria and the Southlands or something. I was like, oh my god, he doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
But you also said, I'm not sure about that. It was during the End Times video.
No, I definitely mixed that up. Well, one of them was I missed the idea of I accidentally called the island where the elves live as like the British Isles, but it's not. It's like
It's Atlantis.
yeah.
I'm sure there's people quick to correct you.
Yeah, it's really easy with this kind of format, YouTube, to forget that like people who make content are just people,
Yep.
make mistakes.
Now, how
Let's
many
see.
models have you painted while I'm still doing this?
Have I painted tonight?
Yeah.
Um, I'm kind of doing them all in one big batch, which is kind of hard because they're different sculpts, but I'm getting pretty close to being done with 5 Gruntstock Thunderers and 3 Endrin Riggers.
Is anybody in the chat painting as well? What's everybody else working on? Oh, we're not on Patreon. Vinci, we are not on Patreon. It's not. We're not against it. It's just one of those things. I don't know. We're just not on it. Which I mean, it's we. I'm saying we'll probably eventually get on someday, but and it would definitely help. Like I've spent. I'm not saying I'm happy to spend the money, but I would like to get Patreon just for a costume budget for sketches. That's what I want Patreon for.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to get this Ideneth costume. It's just
Yeah.
a guy riding a shark. I was gonna make an Ideneth costume because I wanted to do a sketch where it's kind of like the cantina in Star Wars, right?
You're right.
Where, you see the Bloodbound character I have, and maybe Ideneth guy, and this guy together. I'll let this, and I have a friend who works at a bar. She's a bartender, and I wanted to shoot it there, but it just never came together. But I was about to spend $100 on this shark costume, where it's like a guy riding a shark.
I love it.
Like a centurion helmet and make him like a Ideneth. But like if we get Patreon, I would do that with the money.
That
Because
should just be a goal. Just literally just call it that shark, Jack's shark costume.
I did stand-up comedy for a little over 5 years, and doing the sketches definitely scratches that like creative comedy itch for me. Because I stepped away last year from stand-up, which I was decently. I got a lot of work locally, and I got to go up and down the coast on a tour or two. But it was like I also weighed. Hey, I'm like in my 30s. I have 2 kids, and I'm missing out a lot on them. So
it's a hard life.
Yeah.
Entertainment's not easy, for sure. Let's see. You got some people answering your question. 30K Raven Guard Leviathan Dreadnought, which is my favorite Dreadnought. It's this big, tanky Beef Mountain robot guy. Putting together Fire Slayers. Just started building my second Magma Droth.
Ooh.
Working on Stormcast Griff Chargers and buildings.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm glad you went back. I totally forgot to ask that question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Doug.
No, so what?
Doesn't even care. He just pretends to care.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he just drops questions and walks away. I don't understand. Let's see. Here we go. I shop debone. Let's see here. Brent Nelson in the chat, being a hero.
Big dog. Finna work for Pokemon.
Survive in the winter wonderland. Painting a yellow Lord of Change. That sounds so arduous because of how detailed that model is.
Oh wow! I have a Lord of Change who's like 85% done, and I couldn't imagine doing him yellow. Like it'd be. I almost did because I'm like, but I was afraid people would call him Big Bird.
That's fair. I mean, I called mine Big Bird and he was blue.
Well, if you remember the Sesame Street movie, Big Bird was blue for a little bit, but you might be too young.
I don't know how to respond to that without making you feel old.
Just because my body.
That's funny.
What else are you into, Doug, besides AOS?
Well, I do consider making videos a hobby. Like it takes a lot of time, but I really enjoy it.
Okay.
Beyond that, I am a huge fan of true crime. Learning about all kinds of dark and twisty stuff, cults and serial killers and all kinds of stuff like that.
Do you watch murder shows on TV?
No, we don't have cable or anything like that. There's a few things that are on Netflix and stuff like that.
I dated a girl who watched those all the time, and I was like, man, are you trying to figure out how to kill me without well, it didn't work for this girl. She watched it like Snapped or something like that. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, this could end very badly for me. Yeah, I'm into that. I don't know. I just like learning history if it's available, readily available.
There's this podcast called Hardcore History. You should give it a shot.
Oh, I love it.
Oh man, did you listen to the one on the Mongols?
Not yet. I downloaded them. Basically, I just kind of tune in like once a year because he takes so long to make each episode. So I haven't gotten
listening to the political ones he did. I'm like, man, I hate politics. I'm listening to this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hardcore History is really good.
Yeah, actually, he was a big inspiration into how I do my narrative or my lore reviews.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because if you watched the channel when I first started, like back before you and I met, when I did like the fleshy records, it was a super boring. It was very much like everything you see for a lot of 40K channels, where they just like read you off kind of a wiki type thing, what's in the book. And I got really tired of those because they were not fun to produce.
Yeah.
And so actually there was a 3-week period when we first moved into the last apartment where I stopped making lore videos, and I was like, I need to figure out what I want to do. And so I was listening to Dan Carlin's Hardcore History, the World War I series. Yeah. And I was like, you know what I love about this is that it makes it'll tell you facts, but then tell you why they're important.
Now that you mention it, I do I see the similarity between you and Mr. Carlin.
Yes, and so when I came back to Battle Reports, that's why at the end of every episode now I say, now let's just stop and talk about what this means and why this is a cool fantasy trope and all that kind of stuff. So
awesome.
Him and I'm not a huge gamer, like computer games or PC games, whatever. I just I like some of the content they make. So like Oxhorn for Fallout content is my favorite. Much like me, he is also a large man with a soothing voice, and he lives in the Seattle area. So if you're an Oxhorn fan,
is his Fallout?
Yeah, so he does reviews for every Fallout game, and it has a very like in-depth lore story universe thing. So it's pretty cool stuff.
Speaking about large men with a soothing voice, have you heard of Comics Explained?
I have not.
Oh, you should check him out. He's I read comics as a kid, like a lot of people, but he just he gets you. He goes through all these story arcs, like, hey, what happened with I stopped reading comics when it was the Clone Saga with Spider-Man. I'm like, hey, what happened with that? And he'll just kind of break it down, and he has like this super deep voice, like if James Earl Jones told you about Captain America.
I love it.
Yeah, he's really cool. Actually, spent some time up in the Northwest here. Pretty cool guy. I think his name's Rob.
I'm just saying, it's the best part of the country, straight up.
Besides the snow.
Yeah, well, I've been here a few years. This hasn't happened before. This is not a regular thing. You can tell it's not regular by our city's utter lack of preparedness for it.
It's like, I'm already talking about, I'm not showing up for work tomorrow. This is ridiculous. We're like, there's people who work at UP Deliver and this is just there every day. And I'm like, this is unacceptable. It's like we can't do our job. Like this is a Tuesday in Minnesota.
Yeah, pretty much.
Have you seen this the Street Fighter movie?
The old school one?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes.
That's why I always say this is a Tuesday because that's what M. Bison said to Chun Li. Like,
Yes.
yeah, this was the
For me, it was Tuesday. I love it. $5 from Brian Mathers, huge fan of 2+ lore videos. Thank you so much, friend.
Nice.
I love it. Thank you so much. Everyone's support means a great deal to me.
That is going to Burlock Davison, whatever his name is. What's the guy's name? Grungson?
The character for KO?
Yeah.
I will have to double check.
Yeah, that was a sketch, like with Colossal Apostle top was the top 5
Yeah.
characters. Like yours truly.
I feel like anything that Brent touches kind of turns to gold. And it's like, yeah.
What was that?
I feel like anything that Brent touches turns to gold, and it's like, yeah.
He can really channel that like Colossal Possum character because it's nothing like him. But he like when he goes into Colossal Possum mode, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
That was one sketch I wasn't that happy with. Was it was a sketch I came up with and I shot it and I edited it, but then Mark did some changes to it and it was almost because we tried to keep them under 2 minutes. It was when me and Mark saw how people liked Colossal Possum and so we made our own characters and I was like Gargantuan Tarantula and he was Enormous Mouse. And you actually showed up in that one because I was doing a play off the sketch you did about Sigmar throwing his hammer. So it was kind of like the whole 2+ tough, R1 MCU thing. So you had to go cross channels and understand that sketch and understand this sketch. And I just didn't come out as well as I'd like.
You didn't like that one? I like that one.
I like it, but I liked the original, like the director's cut. We'll say.
Okay. The director's cut. We should have that. Just have a.
Or it's like this is how I described it. It was like, you make a movie and then the studio's like, it needs a cat best friend.
Exactly.
Animated cat in it.
Cats are really selling well right now.
Yeah, we need a cat in it. I'm like, wasn't my vision.
Let's see here.
But it also made me realize I need to not be so caught up in it. As far as like, if something happens, move on to the next one.
Yep.
Because we've done battle reports that they didn't turn out the way we wanted, or something happened. It's just like, just move on to the next one. You can't beat yourself up about it too much. Or we got this wrong, we got that wrong. It's like,
Yep.
It's all right. We'll try to improve next time.
Yep. Yeah, I've had people message me and ask me like, how do you get started and stuff in YouTube? It's like, just make anything, and then the next time you make something, make it better than the first one, and then just repeat.
It's crazy how like it's blowing up. Like the number of battle report channels I'm seeing like, I never even heard of this.
Yeah, there's quite a few now.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the Southeast Wargaming. They're like these guys in Europe, but they're kind of like they're funny, and I'm a huge fan of entertaining presenters as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just not a fan of sore losers.
Yep. Yeah, I think probably one of my favorite, recent battle reports you guys did to illustrate that point was when you and Shu both played the kind of aggressive Stormcast list, where obviously anyone who watched that's like the defining feature of that game was the freaking, what is it called, the War Machine? What's it called? The a ballista.
Yeah.
But it doesn't stop anyone from having a great time and lots of laughs. So
it was fun as far as it was entertaining.
Yeah.
The game was pretty one-sided.
And you know what, man? Some games just are.
Yep.
That's what I'm learning with the Beast of Chaos, and I will probably learn with the KO. It's like, you walk up to a table and you say, "Hey, can you handle 30 gore in your face turn one?" If the answer is yes, all right.
I want you to run 2 40-man units of Arcanauts, bro.
How many do I have? I have 40 now.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna. I think they're a solid choice in terms of units to dive into.
What's their save? 5 up?
I believe so, yeah. They die, but they got some cool optional melee weapons and shooting for days.
Shooting's good. Shooting's not dead. I think people overreacted to Lookout, sir. Which there's so much negative to hit in the game now. Just imagine shooting at Skaven now. Like, isn't Skaven their -2 to hit for one of their new rules?
Yeah, lead from the back.
Oof. Can't wait to play Mark Skaven.
Yeah, man. I'm oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I hope eventually they make Thunderers as a battle line for KL. That would be really cool. I'm surprised they didn't. I know a lot of people were. I think it would certainly help the value of the start collecting box if there was a chance to make them battle line.
Super bummed that you didn't get the books. Like, I think probably the only video I got to see of the breakdown was from Ash, Guerrilla Miniature Games, which he did a good breakdown. And I'm not saying this for everybody, but for me, it's hard for me to understand him because sometimes he just talks too fast and it's kind of slurry, like with his S's and stuff. And so, like, I find myself tuning out. But I really love his content, and like his battle reports are great.
Yeah. Eventually, I will get a book.
Yeah, eventually. Hopefully, it's Corn Book.
Yeah. Always hoping. I'll get a book on time, and then I will. Patron suggested just going ahead and doing like basically a downward facing cam like I'm doing right now.
Yes.
And then just walking through the book and just talking very plainly about synergies and things like that.
Are you allowed to show this? Like, what are the rules?
The rules are don't show anything until a specific date. But on that date, I can do pretty much whatever I want. I own the book; it's out there for the world.
Okay.
So it'd be one of those things where if I got the book early, like I'm supposed to, like a couple days in advance, I would make a few lore videos, and then the day that I'm allowed to talk about it, then I would just do a live stream talking about it.
Okay.
Is how it's in my mind supposed to work. Let's see here. Brian at Doug, I felt bad playing against the one Beast of Chaos player at my local shop. She took my Archeon and Nurgle and ended up ending the game with major victory. Almost tabled him in the third. Only lost 12 models.
Yeesh.
That sounds rough. I played a game against the Nurgle list, and I never actually killed anything because she was doing Plague Bearers and she kept bringing them back. That was a game against Carrie.
Mm-hmm.
Brutal. Yeah, I don't think I actually ended the game making a successful kill.
That's the character I like. It's weird, all the stuff I own. Like, I have Archeon, I have some Vanguard, and they're sitting unassembled. Like my older brother, who plays Seraphon, he's probably Josh on the channel. He like our uncle passed away, and our uncle had been playing Magic since the game came out, and he left all his Magic cards to my brother, and because we grew up playing Magic with him and stuff, and my brother just he didn't really want the cards, so he took them to this shop. And the guy gave him a ton of money and a ton of store credit. And so, like, my brother would just show up with Archeon. Here, this is for the channel. Show up with all this stuff. Oh, this is for the channel. like, it's like I have like Scar Brands over there. And this, it's what's this guy? Carol Spate Weaver. Just a ton of stuff. And it's just like I am a slow painter. I'm like I need somebody to commission for me.
There you go. Would you ever do a commission painter?
What? Man, I think it's really expensive, isn't it?
I mean, it depends who you go through. I don't know. I don't know a general rate. I know like Shu told me his general idea is like whatever the model costs to buy, that's what it charges to have a fully painted whatever version of it.
Oh, then I totally would do that.
All right.
You paint too fast.
Yeah, I can't think of an army I own that I wouldn't want to do the painting for. You know what I mean? Like specifically, I would want to paint that thing.
Let's see. I have a unit of what are they called? Gutbusters? Is that the name?
Yep. Yeah.
I have some Gutbusters that I'd like Brent to paint because Brent, in my opinion, is the best painter on Rerolling ones. He's an amazing painter.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought these Gutbusters from him, and he has his test model, and I'm like, it would be a shame if these ogres didn't look like that.
Yep.
It's so great. And I'm just waiting for his birthday so I can give him back to him. I'm like, this is my youngest. That's the army he liked, but it's also like, I don't know how interested he is.
That makes sense.
Like, also, I get stuff in hopes one day, this is for the channel. It's for the channel. It's for the channel. There's a lot of it's for the channel at my apartment. So I guess I would be the benefactor, my brother as well, for Rerolling ones.
The benefactor, yeah.
The sugar daddy.
Yeah, my thing is I only paint stuff that I'm super excited about, and then when I lose excitement over it, that's when I sell it.
Yep. Iron Jaws, Fire Slayers.
Yeah, but I don't think I could take on a commission and paint something that I'm not already excited about. Like, you know what I mean? It has to come naturally. Just dotting some I's here. And these guys are going to be almost done.
Awesome. Do you want to do after we're done here, do you want to do a Vermintide run? We'll call it a night.
I got to, probably won't have time. I got to make dinner for the missus.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, well. Didn't eat yet.
Yeah, we tend to eat pretty late in the day. We also don't eat until like lunch, so.
Oh, gotcha. I've been doing this intermittent fasting. It's going good. I keep preaching about it, but it's working.
Wow, Jack, what is that, and how can I do it?
It's for your listeners, not you. I already told you about it.
Funny. Two Doug videos and the new Stormcast. Awesome. Oh, Vinci just had a great idea. So you guys are rerolling ones. I'm 2+ off. We need another channel called -3 Rend.
That is great. That'll be my offshoot when I leave.
When he finally gets tired of Mark.
Yeah, I'm tired. Get tired of carrying everybody. -3 Rend. You're tuning into -3 Rend podcast.
Yeah, that's right. Watch Brent make a counter channel called like Ethereal Roll Podcast or whatever.
I got the Ethereal Amnic podcast.
Exactly.
It's like back in the day, I used to be really into watching MMA, like UFC stuff. And there would be so many different T-shirt companies, like ridiculous amount of T-shirt companies. Like, oh, this is Triangle Choke apparel.
Yep.
Because originally there was Tap Out, and they got rich. They're like, oh, I'm Rear Naked Choke Radio.
Love it. Vinci demands royalties 80/20. That's fine. There's no money to be made on this.
That's not true. You made what? $8 today.
That's true.
$9. Excuse me. Which we are very thankful for. Thank you so much.
Yes.
You donated to Doug. It helps the channel. He's like, I think it's amazing. He's able to work from home on Fridays. So Friday is pretty much he is working purely on the channel. Are you working from home or do you have a day off?
Work from home.
Okay, so but you can do a lot more for the channel.
Oh, you mean like for my job?
Yeah, for your job.
No, that's the day off. I don't get paid for my work. Yeah.
Okay, so you're working on stuff through your patrons, that's an amazing fact. You're able to work purely on stuff for the channel on Fridays.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I took my snow day today because I'll have to work this Friday because of all the snow back and everything up.
Oh yeah, totally.
But I took today and I was like setting up a Twitch channel and getting in contact with an artist for more cool, like fun art designs for everything. I don't know, it's been fun.
You know, I really like Tom and Vince's. Like they got characterized, and then I think that's so cool. What character? Okay, if somebody drew a picture of you, what would you want it to be?
Ooh, like mashed up with like a Sigmar.
Yeah.
Creature or whatever. I don't know, probably a Chaos Sorcerer.
Chaos Sorcerer? Cool.
That's not, I don't know, that's not a fun cartoon.
Riding a Manticore?
Huh?
Riding a Manticore?
There you go, yeah.
Like I would want to be either Slanesh, like Sigval type guy, or a Stormcast would be boring because it's just you and the Stormcast thing. So it'd have to be like I like your it's different, but the making a Beast Lord, that picture is cool, but it's not a cartoon. But I'd go something Slanesh or Korn, like a Blood Reaver guy.
Solid choice. I think. I have to repaint the fins on these guys. Not quite a big fan of those. It's too blue. That's okay.
Vinci will be Lord Croak. That's awesome.
That's funny. Ryan wants to be a squig in the chat. Brent says you should be Cordell.
Cordell, yeah, I'd be Slaughter Priest.
Exactly.
Who would Brent be? Well, like it's funny for armies that you associate with people. Like,
Yeah.
to me, Escaped, even though that's not his favorite army or whatever. But I associate you, Slaves to Darkness.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
And Brent, for some reason, Brayherd.
Oh, I'm down for that. I guess, yeah. I guess, Mark, I was going to say, those are the armies we all played when we did our big...
Yeah, the first time we all did a Triumph and Treachery. Mark played... what did Mark play?
I don't remember.
You played Stormcast. I played Slanesh. Brent played Brayherd. Josh played Iron Jaws.
And he brought his Blight Kings out.
Okay. Yes, right. Blight Kings. That's another thing we want to get. A Triumph and Treachery. Triumph and Treachery is like a lot of fun, especially if you're like...
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It... I think it is probably one of the more fun ways to do multiplayer things.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little awkward the first turn or two you do it, but you get used to it real quick.
Man, definitely takes a lot longer than you're going to think. You think?
Yeah, well, it's still... I mean, at the end of the day, we all brought 500 points, but that's still a collective 2,500 points on the table.
True.
And you do have to, like, work with together, and everyone has to focus and put down their beers.
Yes.
But if you're not familiar with Triumph and Treachery, folks in the chat, it's a super fun game format where basically it's for multiplayers, but you can make alliances or you can squeal on them. Nothing is binding you to do them. But it's a big multiplayer game, and for each phase of your turn, you have to choose who you're targeting, and you can only do things against them. And it makes it really difficult if you get squished between two armies. You have to be like, this combat phase, I'm picking on Jack, and I can only do that. Or if Mark or Brent are on my other side, they just get to attack me. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. So it's a really interesting dynamic. And you accrue points to screw people over or help out an ally, and equal parts Triumph and or Treachery.
But again, like trying to film it, it's hard to get us all getting everybody together. Like I have all these sketch ideas that require all of us to be there, and that never happens.
Yep. Unfortunately. Let's see here. Let me take out the chat here. Vinci says, I have a channel all set up and ready for recording. I just need an army and content and ideas. Ideas, I find, is the hardest one. Okay, what's going on? Talk about the Shattered Dominion bases. I've used quite a few of those. I'm not the biggest fan of them. I probably would never do that again, unless you are in love with that very specific aesthetic. I find them to be really hard to work with because they don't always have good placement for like people to put their feet on. If that makes sense, so it's kind of hard to, and that's not always the easiest thing to stand models up on. Also, if you glue stuff to them, you use super glue rather than plastic glue because they don't hold very well. Yeah. You ever use any of the GW pre-made bases?
No, but I have a ton.
Yeah. Okay, here's a fun question. So are people playing KO wrong, or do they need a good buff in the new battle tomes? What are your thoughts? What's your hot take?
Well, They did very well at CanCon, but
Yep.
the guy also had a lot of evocators. And I play more of a segregated kind of thing. Don't take any allies, but I think they could. As far as them being, they're the army. They shoot. They're the shooting army. I don't like that Stormcast does that better than them.
That's fair.
And so I would like to see what you said, like the what the Tau have, the
Marker lights.
marker
Yeah.
lights. It's a guy. He's able to put a target, and everybody gets plus
Yep.
1 hit. Okay.
Give him the ether flare gun and send him on his way.
That'd be amazing. But
For me, we were discussing. I do think this is all me blowing smoke because I've never actually played the faction. I'm gonna play it once it's painted, so just keep that in mind. I see a lot of weird conundrums that we were talking about earlier today, actually, where people will say, "Oh, the ships are not important. They're just there to transport your troops because they're too expensive and they have enough shots." But then if you watch the battle report, when they deploy the actual units from the ship, they do so in a way that they screen the ship, like as if it were important. And I find that to be a very odd conundrum because you should use the ship to screen the troops if they're more important, I would think. But again, I'm just not seeing something maybe. That's just kind of a general observation I've seen where like I feel like I'm hearing one thing, but in practice I'm seeing another.
makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And I think like I played against them maybe once or twice. I noticed that they were really good turn one, and then they drastically dropped off.
Yeah.
And so that's good. But what if you have an army that doesn't show up turn one?
Yeah.
You just
Like say
ignore.
Stormcast army dropping down with 4 ballistas.
Yep. So okay, that was what you did, and now that was your ta-da. Now here's my counterstroke.
Yep.
Whereas like if you have like some of those like Beasts of Chaos, and some people have to turn one, that would be a little more fair for them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a game designer. I'm hesitant to say that things are broken or they don't work or whatever. Because I don't know. But
If you want views, you need to say wild, sweeping statements about things.
okay,
Something that's garbage if it's not the best.
okay. Well, KO more like DF dumpster fire. Am I right?
We went from 69 people watching to 7.
Yep.
It's either the best thing or the worst thing.
Yeah.
No nuance.
Yeah, one thing also is they're just a super different army where so much of the rest of the game is focused on melee and in large numbers of bodies and stuff like that. They are their own thing, regardless of if I'm right or wrong. They are very much their own thing. Not everyone plays them like they're their own thing. Oh, Oathstone says all caps OMG helps views too. Absolutely.
Is it the worst start collecting box? I think.
Lorenzo says, I want to see a rule for KO where they can only be targeted by missile weapons or other flying units. Yeah, I assume you mean for the boats or like other flying things. That'd be most of the game can't fly. Let's see here. A lot of pains on this one. So KO needs a few other fixes, either better durability or better run and shoot rules.
Ooh, run and shoot might be nice. Or like what the free people can do, like a shoot when they're charged.
Yep. Oh, I like that one. He also says the ability to shoot twice if you don't move.
Ooh.
I'd like that for the boats. If not the people, I understand, but like, you know, all the boats and stuff like that, I'd be cool with that. All right. So let's see. Wrapping up. Oh, no, I got a little bit here left to paint. Let's see. There's a bunch of different ways I can go with the fixes for sure. I think it's, I don't think they suffer from like being unplayable. You'll hear that term a lot, and I hate that term. But I think the biggest thing is just, are they doing what the designers thought they would when they made the rules? I tend to think not. But I don't know. All right. Got a lot of progress done tonight. How about you?
Yeah, I'm happy with my progress. I'm like almost ready to glue the wings back on.
There you go. I got the 5 Thunderers done here. And hold them up to the camera. Maybe we can see. Oop.
Yeah, look good.
Yep. So got him done, and these balloon guys, the flyer guys themselves are done. I want to redo the wings on all of them, the back wing.
Mm-hmm.
I want to try and put some of that tan khaki color in there so they match the boats a little bit more.
Looks great. I love the color scheme.
Thank you. I am enjoying it. So it's nice and simple, and it looks nice and clean. Here's a hard question. Do you have any ideas on how to paint models so they look like they're being rained on? That is, no, that's next level, man. I'm the guy who cranks out 60 models in a short period of time, not the guy who does that kind of stuff.
Awesome, though. Love the
idea. Oh my goodness, if you can make that happen, that'd be amazing. I think Vince Ventrella on his channel does stuff like, I know he does like model like busts, like scale models of torsos, heads, and that, and he has done cool effects like that before, which is really cool. So anyway, I'm going to hop off here, friends. Thank you so much for joining me, Jack.
Thank you. You're welcome.
And you folks have a wonderful night. I hope you enjoyed our winter Festivus. Is it still snowing? Let me see. Is it still snowing by you?
No, it looks like it rained a little bit. But...
Yep. Okay. Well, anyway, be safe, everyone, and we will talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.